I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Mike. Thanks so much for being with us.
Okay, thank you for coming, everybody. My name is Mike Gershbein. Hopefully you can all hear me. Not, please feel free to type in anything into the chat room and let me know. I've got a business called Very Smart People, and I teach at Neighborhood, all through Chicagoland libraries and other venues on all types of topics, technology-related topics in business and technology. And things being the way they are, we'll all keep our fingers crossed and make sure everything works. I just had my first power surge right during that introduction. So if I completely disappear at some point in the next hour, don't panic. I'll do all the panicking. You guys can just sit there and wait for me to reappear. But overall, these Zoom classes have been going pretty well. Usually they are muted, which means that if you guys have any questions, I keep looking to my right here because I have a second monitor for looking at my slides and looking at your questions. So I'll keep an eye on that stuff. And if I'm sitting here, this has happened where I'm sitting here talking about getting all excited about something on my screen and pointing out these points and stuff, and all of a sudden everybody says, you know, are we supposed to be looking at your screen right now? At which point I'll realize that I haven't actually shared my screen. So certainly if it seems like you should be seeing something that I'm not showing you, please let me know. This thing will be recorded, but I'm also certainly willing to send my slides along. I'll actually put up my email in the chat room for if anybody needs to contact me about anything related to this. And at this point, I'm going to swap over to my slides. And just let me do one other thing. Okay. So today, the point of today's class is to focus on what are called Google My Business pages. So what's important for you to consider is how you think about Google, because Google is kind of changing the way that it operates as far as businesses and other things from how it originally started, where a lot of people still think of Google as a search engine where you put in something you're looking for. You want to find the definition of a word, or you want to find when a movie's playing, once movies will reopen again, or you want to find a business address, any of this stuff. So when you kind of think about the classic definition of Google and Yahoo and these other search engines, you put in a search and then you get a bunch of links. And in theory, you get the best link first, second best link second, third best link third. And you'll click on the links and then go to places. But what Google has kind of changed in how it wants to operate is it really just wants to give you the answer of the thing that you're looking for as a first result. So now if you go and you ask Google, what movie star, oh God, I can't think of an actor. What movies star, anyway, your favorite actor, Tom Cruise. What movie star Tom Cruise? You get a list of movies starring Tom Cruise. You don't just get a link to a website saying, IMDb saying, if you click on here, you'll get a bunch of movies. You get the answers to what you're looking for. And that's kind of similar if you use any of these smart speakers. Google has a smart speaker. You ask Google, what's the definition of a word? And it tells you the definition of a word. So Google's trying to feed you up answers for things. They're not just trying to send you places. So what that means as far as a business owner is that Google has become this place where if people are looking for a plumber, or if people are looking for an accountant, yes, they'll still get a bunch of links to, here are a bunch of accountants, here's a plumber, here's restaurants, whatever. But the first thing that they're going to get is essentially a link, is information about the actual business that they're looking for. Either they're going to get a selection of accountants, or they're going to, you're looking for a particular car auto place. It will give you information about that business, hours, and the types of cars they work on, those types of things. So Google has become not just this search engine, which is still there, but it's also become a directory. It's almost a competitor to Yelp at this point. I look at it as a competitor to Yelp and a second website. And actually, if you have a website out there for your business, you probably know how hard it is for your website to appear in the top of Google search results. So if somebody does a search on whatever your business type is, and they specifically search Arlington Heights, maybe your business shows up at the top, maybe another business shows up at the top. Maybe Yelp's page for your business shows up at the top, or your Facebook page shows up at the top, or some other thing that links to your business shows up at the top of the results. And maybe yours is 5 or 6 down. Maybe yours isn't on the top list of results in Google. But hopefully what's showing up at the top of the Google results is the Google My Business page, which actually is a link to your page and information about your page itself. So, you know, that's kind of important to think about as far as why you want to have these Google My Business pages. It's really, you know, the way that Google is moving, it's a way to get your information in front of people. And as far as kind of the search engine part of Google goes, where it brings up results, what we've seen as far as kind of the numbers is that if you don't show up in the first result or in the first few results, people aren't really going to find you. If you're not on the first page of results, very few people will click on the second page. If they're looking for a plumber and you're not listed on the first page of results for plumbers, chances are they're not going to move on to other pages. So this gives you another chance to be visible on Google, which brings me to my next slide, which is why you'd actually want to use a Google My Business page. First of all, it is free to create and host a Google My Business page. It's an additional website. So the way that I'm starting to kind of look at the web and how you offer up business pages, you really have a whole bunch of websites out there. When you started your business, chances are you created a website for your business. Still doesn't happen all the time, which is unfortunate. I mean, for some reason, it doesn't happen with a restaurant. And I imagine it's a lot of work to set up a restaurant. So maybe they think that they don't need to get around to creating a website until later. But as far as I'm concerned, if you're a restaurant, you need to have a menu and you need to have a phone number and you need to have those online. But you know, you've got your website that you created, and maybe you spent a lot of money on it, or maybe you went for an inexpensive solution, but you love the way it looks and it has all this information about you and your business, and it's got your catalog of stuff maybe, and it's this brilliant, beautiful place that people may or may not ever get to, because you've also got these other websites out there. You hopefully have your Yelp page, which is free to set up, and Yelp is insanely popular. I'll talk a little bit about SEO in a second, search engine optimization, but I can't tell you how many times I've done something like look for a restaurant, and I don't see the restaurant's results in that first page of results, but Yelp is right up there at the top. And I can just click on the Yelp page and maybe it'll give me the information I need, or maybe that'll give me a link to the website, which is really all the time that this happens, especially with restaurants where I cannot figure out the website, but I'll bring up the Yelp page and that will have the link to the website. So, you know, that's another website as far as I'm concerned, even though it's sitting on Yelp. Your Facebook page is another website, another way for you to be found when people are searching on the internet. Your LinkedIn page, you got all these different things, which aren't your official website, but if you have control over them and you've updated the information, then they're just other places for you to be found. It may not be ideal for you. You may want people going to your website itself, but you know, it's like I said, SEO, search engine optimization, is difficult, and it's hard for your website to get brought up to the top. So these are all other ways to either get your information out there or help people be sent to your website. So it does help you to be seen online. You know, and it also helps with SEO. So search engine optimization is, if you're not familiar with the term, that's what SEO is. And that's how do you make your website rise to the top of Google results. And there's hundreds of different factors that make that happen. And some of them are kind of how you build the website. Some of them are if the website is up to standards, or if it's fast, or how long it's been around. But there are other things that are connected to this, like how many places link to your website. So if there are a whole bunch of places linking to your website, then chances are it'll help it rise in your search results. So anything that you put out there, a Yelp page, a Google My Business page, a Facebook page, these are all linking to your website, and that's potentially helping you rise in search results as well. Google also looks, here's also kind of the dirty secret of Google and of getting your stuff to rise to the top, is Google likes it when people use Google products. So if you are using Google My Business, it says to Google, hey, this is a good business. We like these guys. Maybe we should help push their stuff up to the top. Or YouTube is another good example. If you've ever considered using videos and you want to help your Google results, YouTube is a Google product, and that's potentially going to push it up as well. So all this kind of interaction with Google is going to help your kind of organic website rise to the top. Another thing that's important, Google My Business is closely linked with Google Maps and how it's designed. And Google Maps is the most popular navigation software out there. People are using it to look up businesses. So if somebody's using it to look up a hairdresser in Arlington Heights, they'll find some hairdressers there, and it'll bring in information from your Google My Business page into Maps. So these are closely aligned. As long as people are using Google Maps to find stuff, you want to make sure that they've got your hours and they've got other information related to you. So all good reasons to use a Google My Business page. So here's what I'm talking about as far as what you're seeing in Google results. And this is on a web browser. So this is on a laptop computer. I went ahead and I searched Parks Plumbing. And this is a good example. This is coincidence. This is a good example of how, yeah, it would have been nice if Parks Plumbing showed, if their website showed up at the top of results, showed up second, so not horrible. But the first result there is the Yelp result. And then the third result is a third Parks Plumbing result, which actually relates to them not having a sitemap probably, but that's different. And then we get Angie's List, which is a directory of plumbers. And then we get Better Business Bureau, which is a kind of, a directory of places. So on this page of results, what we've got here are potentially our website, which somebody might want to click through. And then there's another Yelp, which somebody would click through to get a whole bunch of stuff related to it. But then you look on the right, and this is a bunch of information about the actual plumber itself. So I don't have to click through any of this stuff. I can look on the right and see the stuff like Google reviews, which we can talk about a little bit, their address, their hours, their phone number, and bam, all that stuff is right there for me, saving me from clicks. In this case, it was a place that was well known enough that I actually got some decent results on the left. Imagine if you had done this search and all the results on the left weren't that good for your business. There were things that either not your website or things that you didn't necessarily want people to see. You definitely want the thing on the right, which is the Google My Business. I don't know that I've actually specifically said that. This is all information that it's pulling from your Google My Business page. So if you don't have this Google My Business page set up, it may not be pulling in, and it probably won't be pulling in a result here on the right, maybe, but it probably won't be. And then the information that it's pulling in there may not be accurate for you. So that's your chance to get all that stuff right in front of people. Here's an example of it on mobile, where it's even more important that you have a Google My Business page. Because look at the results when you do a Google search on a mobile device. You get, where are all those links? Where are all those links to the websites and other stuff? If I scroll down, you can get to them eventually and you can see them. But the first thing that appears is from the Google My Business site. So same information as in the previous page, reviews. Yes, there is a link to the website. So if somebody wants to go to the website. That being said, I'm getting that ready stuff about like phone number and address and hours right there on my mobile device. So right now, mobile devices, and probably for the foreseeable future, mobile devices are the way that everybody's on the internet. They are by far the most popular device getting onto the internet. So it's even more important that you're visible here. Here is an example. I did a search for Mexican restaurants in Skokie, and I get a little map that appears. Once again, if you had kept, this is on a laptop. If I had kept scrolling down, yeah, I'd get a bunch of links to websites. Maybe those are Yelp. Maybe these businesses will appear, their home pages will appear as I scroll down on that site. Maybe they won't. But what I'm getting here is a link to, this is actually going to take me into Google Maps. So if you try later on, you can try doing a search, for whatever business that you're interested in. Try doing a search on it, and you'll get a map appearing at the top. You'll get a few different results. And then when you click on these, it takes you into a Google Maps, which will pull in information from the Google My Business page. Here's a look at Google Maps. So in this case, Google Maps brings in Eddie's hair. I did a search on Eddie's hair salon, or for hair salons on Maps, and then I clicked on Eddie's hair salon, and this is all information that's being pulled in from the Google My Business page, closely tied to the map, to Google Maps. Okay, so this is really, really important for you guys if you want to be seen to get this thing created. Now, what do you put when you put in a Google My Business page? You're going to put in general business description and actual specific services that you offer, you know, spa, and you do waxing and hair removal, or whatever spas do, nails. You'll have your website there. I think I mentioned on a previous one, but certainly there will be a link to the website if somebody wants to go there. But you know, it's funny when you think about websites, and I'm sure you've all, if you have websites, you put a lot of time and thought into your website. Your website probably has more information than anybody wants. People are going to go to your website and they're going to hunt around, and maybe if they're lucky, they'll find your hours and they'll find your address. No, because we have this you have this home page of how wonderful your business is, but people want your phone number, people want your address. When you're looking at these Google My Business pages, it's just kind of pulling out the most important stuff. This is what Google's saying people really want in this directory: business description and services, link to your website, your telephone number, and they're on a mobile device or possibly on a computer, tap on that and call you right from there, right? So that's nice. A map to your business, tap on that, and all of a sudden they've got directions to get to your business. And then hours, including special hours. So especially with COVID, a lot of people have been changing hours, or you know, maybe you've got a special hours for drive-through or something like that, or special services, and you can do all that stuff through there. Now, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that is available potentially. Reviews and star ratings. So this may make some of you nervous. For hopefully not that nervous. Hopefully you've got a quality business and you're not going to get many 1-star reviews, but there will be some weirdos out there who are potentially going to give you a bad rating. But they have, you can get reviewed by people who visit your website, and they can leave stars. You can respond to reviews. You know, I think a healthy attitude towards reviews is that majority are going to be positive. And even if you get some negatives, it almost gives you a little bit more legitimacy, because if it was all positive reviews, then nobody would believe it, maybe. Anyway, questions and answers. People can go into the Google My Business page, say, do you provide this service? And then you can go as a business owner and answer, yes, we do provide this as a service, and give them some more information. Photos, you can put up photos of you, photos of your business, photos of your products. Visitors can also put up photos, which is another one of these things. A couple of these things you don't have total control over, but people can put up photos of your business as well. If you take appointments, you can put a link to your appointment form. You can also put specific product listings up from your catalog, and people can click through and buy those products if that's what you do. You can do messaging through this. This is a fairly recent thing that Google has been pushing, which is people can go to the site, they can click on the message, and then you'll get a little message. Now, you need to have the Google My Business app in order to do messaging with them. But in that case, you know, somebody will ask you to set up an appointment, and you'll respond with what time, things like that. I don't know how popular it is yet, but Google certainly thinks it's important. Posts. This is something like if you have a update regarding a new business offering or new hours or something like that, you can actually do offers through here, coupons, that type of thing, and deals. You have a specific event. Google has different forms for these. So you can do a little blog post if you want. I don't know how popular these have gotten. I will say that one of the things that Google really likes is when information is updated. So Google likes when websites are updated and blogging and things like that, because it shows that the stuff is staying fresh. So maybe this will help you with SEO a little. And there are products you can get, like you may have heard of Hootsuite, HOOTSUITE, which lets you post to multiple places at once. So it could be that you're putting something up on your Facebook page and you want it to show up on your Google My Business page as well. You can do it as a little 2-for-1 thing from Hootsuite, which is free to use, and there are other things as well. Information from third-party sites. So, for example, if you are a restaurant, Google may put in a Grubhub link or Uber Eats. You'll see things like links to Angie's List reviews, Consumer Checkbooks reviews, things like that. That's all stuff that Google is putting in. So a couple of these things, Google is kind of forcing on you. And if you don't like it, it's maybe a little bit of work to get rid of it. Now, if somebody goes and leaves a
Hey, Mike, I can't hear you all of a sudden. I'm not sure if mute happened there. Did he freeze up?
Looks like he may have, yeah.
Yeah, he looks frozen to me, right smack,
Yes.
not moving.
Okay.
Frozen. I
guess-
can't see him either.
I guess he will, I'll just give him a moment and he'll probably come back in and I'll admit him again. Sorry about that. Good old technology, right? Zoom. You know, as we're waiting, I see that Cindy asked the name of the service for posting on multiple sites. And I'm just going to mention while we're waiting for Mike to come back that it's Hootsuite. It's Hootsuite. And it can be really helpful because you can put a post together and then have it go to a handful of different social media sites at one time.
Diane, can you repeat that, please?
Hootsuite.
The name?
Hootsuite. Hoot. And then Suite. I'll put it in the chat as well because I just admitted Mike again, and so I'm hoping he'll be able to get himself back up and going.
I just put it in the chat. Hootsuite.com is
Oh.
where you can-
I'm back. Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yeah.
me? Okay. Sorry about that. Can you re-enable my screen sharing or make me a?
Oh, yes, I need to do that. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Somebody asked. Oh, thank you, Jack. I'll say it. Somebody asked if you look in the chat room the name of the service that you can use to share to multiple places at once. Hootsuite is one I use. There are other ones out there. Hootsuite is free up to a certain point, and you can do stuff like send something to a Facebook page and other places all at once. And you can also time things as well. You know, you can put them so that you Sunday night you can schedule the stuff and they'll go out on Tuesday morning. Hootsuite, that's in the chat room. Okay, so let me go back to my screen. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. And then there are specific, I don't know when I got cut off, but the point is Google is sticking some stuff in your page potentially. So there are category specific ones. If any of you have a hotel, you can do things like class ratings. If you have a food or drink business, they'll give you links to online orders, reservations, things like that. I'm sorry, let me do one more thing before I move on. Okay. Health and beauty businesses, you can add a booking button and have a menu of services. So depending on the type of business you are, they'll potentially do this. Somebody says, would this work for an artist to post art fairs, gallery events, and direct people to Etsy or a website? I don't see why not. I don't see why you wouldn't want to do it as an individual artist. I mean, an artist, I see it almost like a consultant where you don't have to have a physical business. And I'll kind of touch on that in a second, but certainly I don't see why you wouldn't want to do this as an artist. At least that's kind of what initially comes to mind. So when you want to sign up for one of these, the place to go is google.com/business. And I can show you this a little bit later, what this looks like. You do need to have a Google account in order to do this. So if you have a Gmail account or YouTube account, they're all Google accounts, and you can sign in with one of those accounts. Go to google.com/business, and there's an option in there called Manage Now. Kind of a silly name, but that's what you click on. You'll enter the name of your business. Now, what you'll find is that there are cases where your business will actually already be in there, because Google in its infinite wisdom has included businesses from wherever, and they put them in there. Or actually, you may have tried searching your business, and your business has shown up in those Google results on the right or on the top of your page. You can claim the business in that case. So if it's already listed there, there's a link where it will say, is this your business? You can claim it. You click on that, And then you kind of walk through the stuff where they verify, which I'll talk in a second, and Google will actually make you the owner of the business. Now, if somebody else has already claimed it, there's a whole, which hopefully they haven't, but hopefully there's a process you can go through to get ownership. When you're signing up, there are a few basic fields that you'll fill in. So this first one is important for Linda, who just asked about being an artist. So location, or me, I work out of my house. Everything I do, I teach other places or virtually, or I go to people's homes. So you can put in, you do need to put in an address. If you don't have an address, you can put in a service area. So in my case, if you look me up, I think I have Cook County, Lake County, and I have 3 counties showing up. And I still show up on Google Maps, but it's this weird kind of big rectangle that shows my service area. So you can do that if you don't really have a single business address. So if you work out of your home, it's not going to show your home on a map. Don't worry about that. And then you can say whether you want your business to appear on Google Maps. So even if you put in, I guess you wouldn't want to, if you don't want people to know your business, you wouldn't want to put that in either way. But if you do it as an area, you can have it appear on Google Maps. But if you do have a physical address, you will want to enter the business address. You can put other service areas in as well. Now for categories, there's a set list of categories that Google will give you. And hopefully you can find a category that applies to you. You can choose up to 10 categories for your business. The recommendations I've seen are kind of try to laser focus on a few categories. Otherwise, it gets harder for people to find you. But you can choose up to 10 categories. So I've got computer consulting, computer training, and I think one other categories. And then you eventually later you can list services under those specific categories. And then contact info, where you put in a phone number or a website for your business. And at that point, you're ready to go. At that point, it doesn't just become live. You will need to verify that you're the owner of this business. And so we move on to the next step of verification. The main way that you're going to get verified that you actually own this business and that it exists is a postcard. So you'll put in your business name, you'll put in the address, they'll send you a postcard, and you'll get it, in a week or so. Then you'll have to log into that same Google My Business page. They'll give you instructions and put in the code. Occasionally, I don't think this happens very often, but if Google has some record of your business, they may let you verify by phone. They may let you verify by email. If any of you are familiar with Google Search Console, your website manager may have used that, or if you built your website, you may have used it. That may let you verify as well. That's kind of something that it helps Google kind of find your website. So that's something that you may or may not have set up in the background. Or if you have a chain, they have something called bulk verification that they can send out different ones for different addresses. But for the most part, you'll get something by mail, and you'll be asked to verify that this is actually you and your business that way. So once you get this thing set up, there are other things that you can use to flesh out your profile, your little business profile. Come up with a cover photo that's a main photo that people will see when they view your Google My Business page. Put in other photos, your staff, exterior, interior, some of your featured products, things like that. You can put up a short video up to 30 seconds. You can put in your service area. I will say that in general, Google does like the more kind of keywords that you can put in. You have earlier when you set it up, you set up this description of your business. So certainly make sure, and that can be up to, I think, 750 characters. Oh, and by the way, you can always change this stuff. So I just changed my business description because I actually went almost 750 characters. I thought it was a little bit long. I wanted kind of a shorter, snappier business description, but I did make sure that I included some kind of keywords that people might search for in order to find my business. So you can include your service area, or you should include your service area outside your home if you go out other places. Hours, and they are doing things right now where you can add separate hours for separate types of services. You can also mark your business as temporarily closed if they did it this largely for COVID, but if you go on vacation for a week or something like that, you say it's temporarily closed, and in a week you turn that off again. Attributes, this is a funny little one, and I think they change it depending on your type of business, but that'll be things like if you want to say that it's woman-owned or veteran-owned, or another thing I saw out there, it was an option for me because I don't have a store, but I saw it out there as potential is accessibility. So, you know, are you wheelchair accessible, something like that. And then the day that you opened. Linda asked if you don't enter your address. You will have to enter an address in order to verify, Linda. That just won't go out there in the Google My Business. You can see on mine if you want. It doesn't actually list my address. You'll enter an address and they'll send you a postcard there, but that doesn't actually get sent out to the world. So it's very easy. You know, Linda's kind of asking about this a couple different ways. It is very easy if you have a business that's not a physical location to put your business out there and not have it associated with your home address. You know, just say that you're a service industry all throughout the area. You don't actually have to put out physical location. Other things to consider, posts. This is what I was talking about where, yeah, if you want to put out an offer to somebody, a coupon or something like that, it'll show up as a tiny little blog post and other kind of updates. Once again, I don't know how popular these are, but Google's certainly saying that people should do it, and deals and things like that. I shouldn't have put that as a separate bullet point because that'll go up in post. If you have a restaurant, you can put up your menus, reservations, delivery options, delivery links as well. Service businesses have a couple different options. Hotels have a couple different options. You can bring in catalog items, and then there is a link to ads. You don't, these are Google ads. This isn't really done through Google My Business. It takes you to Google's ad manager, and ads are certainly an option for you. The two main kind of options with Google ads are either you show up at the top of Google search. So that wasn't in my results over there, and I didn't really mention it, but something that also may happen is you search for a plumber, and the top result, even on top of the Google My Business result, is an ad, a paid ad for Joe the plumber in in Palatine or something like that. So Joe has gone and paid Google a certain amount of money for certain people in certain locations to get a link to his website that he's paying for. So they do have links to submit ads for Google. The other place, that's one of the things that will happen is you'll show up at search results. Those are hard to target. They're a little bit pricey as well, but they mainly do it based on the terms people search for and location. Then the other thing that happens is if you can do a paid ad, so it shows up on blogs and other websites on the right. Now, as I kind of mentioned before, there are going to be things that are brought in from the outside world that you don't necessarily have control of. People can contribute photos. You can't really sort your photos, which is unfortunate. The best you can do if you don't like a photo is report a photo. On the other hand, I'll be honest with you, if you have a business and somebody is interested enough in your business to contribute photos to your Google My Business page, I would consider that a victory. Reviews, people go and leave you star reviews. Now, one nice thing about reviews is they have this built-in share review form option. So you can, once you create this thing, click on this link, send it to a bunch of your customers or friends or whatever, and ask them to fill out reviews for your Google My Business page. And they can all give you a bunch of 5-star reviews. And then when your Google My Business page shows up, you see it's got 10, 20 5-star reviews right from the start. So, that's kind of potentially a good habit, which is take that link and send it to people. But on the other hand, anyone can leave you a review. And if you have an issue with the review, you can report the review, but you can't just take down negative reviews. You can respond to reviews. So if you do get a 1-star review, you can, best option typically is not to be rude, but to go on and thank them and tell them how either the way that you're going to try to improve or acknowledge that this is an issue and not be angry about it. Questions and answers are out there for people. I mentioned this earlier. Somebody will ask a question about your business. Are you going to be at the something art fair, or when are you going to be there? And you can go ahead and put an answer to it. Suggest and edit. There is an option on these things where people think that there's either incorrect information or they want to add information to you. They can click on suggest and edit, at which point you'll get an email or you'll get a message, and you can either do what they say or not. And then it will bring in stuff from other websites as well for better or worse. And that's where things become a little bit tricky. A few other things, I kind of talked about this, how you should make sure that anywhere you're doing stuff on here that you're using keywords to describe your business to help people find you. Now you can have multiple people manage your Google My Business page. So you, as long as they have a Google account, you can assign other people to run this thing for you if you're not so nuts about doing it. And they can have different roles as well. So there are various things that various people can change on your Google My site. Now it will have statistics as far as how many people have seen this and how they got there. They've got basic statistics about how popular your Google My Business page was. These are outside of your regular website statistics, which Google also does in other places. But yeah, you can take a look and see that stuff. They do have an option to set up a custom URL. So it ends up, like most of the social media sites, you can, in my case, I am very smart people. So VSP Chicago is my custom URL. So if you go and I think there might be a letter in it, but something like business.google.com/VSP Chicago, then you get taken straight to my business information. So you can include that information elsewhere, especially if you use kind of something for your presence in Facebook and Twitter and all those other places. You can use that same thing here. Respond to reviews and answer questions. That is important. And you do want to make sure that the information that's out there is up to date, hours and other things like that, phone number, if any of that stuff gets changed, you want to put that out there. And Jack is putting up some good support stuff, which I also have here on the bottom of the slide. Support.google.com/business is kind of, that's nice for both kind of a how-to, that's Google answering questions on how to do your business, but it also has discussions. So you can go out there and ask people some of these things that you may find frustrating that Google doesn't answer. Like, how come all these photos are on my website? How do I rearrange them in some way? And people will go and tell you, well, you can't really do that right now. The grow.google is kind of an overreaching way to use Google in order to help kind of grow your business. And smallbusiness.google.com, I think, is a little more focused on Google My Business. Right now, what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and show you what this looks like. Feel free, once again, to put anything in chat. If you have any specific questions about this, we can go online and take a look at this. It's fairly easy to do. So I would encourage you all to at least give it a shot, you know, now that you know that there's a reason to actually do it. Okay, let's go to the net. Just for kicks, I'm gonna Google. Cheryl says she's setting up a category. I believe this is how I'm reading it. She's setting up a category on Google My Business, and she can't find the category for what she can't find what she's looking for, which is presenter. Unfortunately, with Google, and I think I had this with an issue for one of the things I was looking for, they have this set number of categories. It is a large, thousands of categories, but you need to find something within their category list. So if you can't find the thing that you're looking for in their category list, you're going to have to find something similar. So I'm going to search very smart people in Skokie. Somebody's looking for my business, and oh, this is actually. Let me look for. I just took my car in yesterday. McCormick Auto. Oh, that's interesting. This is actually the same company. And yeah, their results show up first, but this is an example of how they're showing up on the Google search page. Same basic company, McCormick Auto Care, McCormick Auto Body. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and what you'll see in these results, it will take me to Google Maps. They also give me a link to the website and directions. It gives me hours, phone number. When I click on this result, it takes me into Google Maps. Actually, in this case, I wouldn't even, I'm not sure whether this is officially then take me into Google Maps. I would say, yeah, I would say it is. I don't know why I don't know why they added up on the left. But yeah, so this is on Google Maps here showing the results. And then I get this information from the Google, the Google My Business page right here. And this is all the kind of stuff I was talking about. So it's they specifically put out a service, oil change. Here's their address, links to their products and services, links to appointments. I can ask them a question. This is something that Google's feeding in that won't apply to everybody, but Google has pulled that in as far as their popular times. Photos, reviews. They have 204 reviews. It's a pretty good number of reviews. I went to this place based on its reviews. And then other web results as well. So, you know, this is all stuff that for the most part that they're controlling. Notice how it says own this business. If you're out there and you find that your business is out there, you can click on that and they'll give you an option to claim your business. Sorry, I was just reading something in the chat room. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and, well, first I'm going to log out of my Google account. Actually, I'm going to show you one more thing before I go in there. I'm going to do that Parks Plumbing search again. And this is an example. Once again, I get a bunch of links here, and maybe those are ones that I want to go through, and maybe Parks is listed there. But over here is really the kind of meat of the stuff that I'm looking for. All the information I need about Parks Plumbing. I mean, if I thought that they had a specific product that I was interested in and I wanted more detail, yeah, I could click on their website. Yeah, I could click on their website over here, but maybe that's enough for me. So I'm going to go to business.google.com. If you're signed into your Google account, it may show up with something else. But if I was starting up a new business, Manage Now, they have it in two places here, is what I would do. Manage Now, have to sign into my account. At that point, as a new business user, it would give me an option to add another business. At this point, I already have businesses. You can, by the way, manage multiple businesses. So this is a client of mine who has a Google My Business page that I can go in and update. And then this is my particular Google My Business page that I can go in and update. Somewhere down here, they would give me an option to add another business. Probably if I search up here, if I search McCormick Auto, let's see if this will let me. I don't know, but that's relevant. If it's your first time in, they'll have you just search for a business and you can enter your business information. But here's an example of one that I've got set up. You can see that it said that it's verified, that it knows that it's me. So when I go in here, here's my Google My Business page, and it gives me some kind of general information here. They're going to help me do paid ads if I want to. If I wanted to add hours, I could. Personally, I don't have hours, so I don't. Once again, you know, that's another example of something where if you are not a person with kind of set hours, you don't have to add those. However, if I wanted to, easy enough for me to kind of say, I'm open on Monday from whatever time to whatever time, Tuesday from whatever time to whatever time. Other stuff as well, except bookings, things like that. Let me go to some of these options on the left. So posts, this is where if you want to do things like add an offer or add a product update, add an event, things like that. Info, all these things on the left are your different categories. This is kind of your general information about your business. So if I had a specific location, see how it says no location, deliveries and home services only. If I had a specific location, I could click on that, enter my address, and have it appear on a map. But in my case, when I set it up, I said, I don't have a specific location. Everything I do is in home. Here are the categories somebody had asked about. So I found the category computer consultant. I found the category computer training school and computer support and services. Once again, you can add up to 10 categories, and they may not be perfect. Like I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily go with computer training school for myself. I would do computer trainer or something like that, but computer training school was the best option that was available from Google. So it's categories, location. In my case, you know, once again, since I don't have a specific location, my service areas are all over the place. If I wanted to, I could add hours, add special hours. There's my phone number. Now, remember, I had said that you should set up a username for yourself so that people can find you. In that case, I went with VSP Chicago, and you can set it up for whatever you want in yours, a short name. Website link. If you have an appointment form, link to your appointment. If you have specific products that you want to showcase, you can click on that. Say that basically it gives you a little form where you put in a photo of your product and you say what the product is, all that type of stuff. So if you have a store, you can do that type of thing. Now, services, this is where you can get a little bit more specific with your categories. So when I click on that, the primary category is computer consultant. And then I say under that, I do IT consulting, computer instruction. I have a computer training school where I do iPhone and iPad instruction. Now, this is one where they'll be flexible about it. So I can say Windows 10 instruction if that's not already a set category, Windows 10 instruction, and then it will add that as a specific service under that main category. But yeah, these you've got a little bit of flexibility, whereas the overall category names, you're using their set list. Highlights and service options, you can look at them. These are kind of weird and they're going to look different for you. For some reason, they only give me for highlights. I could go with veteran-led or women-led. They don't have Black-owned or anything like, they don't have any more options. I don't know why, but that's just what they're doing. Date that I started, and I can add photos. I have a couple photos up, but I could add more if I wanted to. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh yeah, if you're temporary closed, you can say that you're temporary closed, or if eventually your business goes out of business or you get a different job, something like that, you can mark it as permanently closed, at which point it won't show up anymore. Insights, get some statistics about who's hitting my business and how they're finding my business. This is always somewhat useful. Who's going directly to my website, who's using something like Google to search for your website, and how people are finding, or I shouldn't say website, how people are finding my Google My Business page, who's showing up for results for. Reviews, if somebody leaves you a review, you can respond to it in here. Messaging doesn't really do anything in here. You need to use the app if you're going to use messaging. I haven't seen that much action on it. Photos, what photos do you want to appear? What videos do you want to appear? I just put up a photo of my dog, but you may have better photos than that. Links to your booking, list specific products, services, et cetera, et cetera. And then under users, that's where you can go ahead and add somebody else and set their profile. So that's manager, site manager, or primary owner. In my case, I have 2 different accounts, so that's why I'm here twice, but somebody will be a primary owner. And then depending on how you set them up will determine what they can do on the site itself. So once you kind of do that initial setup, where you walk through the categories, you put in your hours if you've got them, whatever the 3 things are, you get verified, and then you can go in here and walk through kind of the more details and fill them out and see it. And then if you ever want to see, because what will happen is if you go and you look for your business, Google knows that you own the business, so it won't always look right. It will try to push stuff on you. So one nice thing that they'll do is they'll give you a link. Maybe it's under info. Hold on a second. Here, so you can see what your business looks like on search, see what your business looks like on maps. So when I click on maps, if somebody was to find my business on Google Maps, which I don't expect that they do very much, just because it's not a set location, but this kind of shows my overall business area. And then if I want to see what it looks like when people search Google, I can click view on search. And this is what it's going to look like over here on the right when people find it. Here's my dog. One other thing I'll mention is under reviews, where they put it, somewhere they have, and I don't remember where this is, somewhere they've got an option to share. Here you go, share review form. So if you click on that, that's what you can send to a bunch of people and say, please give me a hopefully good review on Google My Business. And then when you go into Google My Business, you'll see all those reviews from people. So maybe, I don't know how easy this looks, first time seeing it, but I can assure you that it is fairly easy to just go into info, fill out your basic info about what you do. Oh, I think I forgot to mention one other thing, which is this description here. And this will go up to, they don't call this description for some reason anymore. They call it from the business, but it really is a brief description of your business. And this will go up to 750 characters. When I put it up there, it was kind of cut off and people could expand it. And I just thought it would be better to do it shorter and snappier, which is what I ended up doing rather than my longer description. But that's where you're going to go ahead and say what you actually do. Okay, so we're almost up to 2 o'clock. What kind of questions do y'all? What's everybody's kind of questions do you have? What's everybody's kind of sense of Google Pages? I'm curious to know if you're all going to go and create these things once you're off the phone, once you're off the, I guess, off the Zoom. Nobody needs me to show them anything else? Are you all still there? I didn't get kicked off again? Yeah, you know, that's the problem. Nancy says they have one, but it hasn't been updated for years. That's a problem with a lot of these things. You know, I do like social media for business classes, and you know, you can really kind of weight how important these things are. And I would say that the Google My Business one is one of the most important ones that you can do, just because, I mean, Google is the internet, okay? People don't necessarily move beyond Google. People can't tell the difference between what Google and the internet. So if you're not listed there on Google for your business to appear, that is the #1 step. Maybe people are on Facebook. No, a whole lot of people are on Facebook, and I think it's a great idea to have a Facebook business page. I think that would probably be, you know, #1 would be have a website. #2 would be have a Google My Business page. #3, I think would be have a Facebook page, or Yelp would probably be up there as well. And then there's other stuff that's not as important, but this Google is so enmeshed into everything. You know, Google is the internet. And if you're not working with Google on this stuff, then you may very well be missed. Yeah, Cheryl, and I don't necessarily have Cheryl's asking, she can't find a category. You know, Cheryl, I don't have a specific answer on that. You'd have to. It's being zipped off. So she's choosing amusement park category and wants her to list her home address. I still think you should be able to not present that address when you actually fill out the Google business page. I don't think that that's necessarily an issue. That the fact that you're putting in a home address doesn't mean that that's being put out there for the world to see. So Jennifer says she has a very active Google business page, but the listing does not show up when searching by broad terms. Yeah, you know, that is the overall issue with kind of being found. If you search real estate agents in Arlington Heights, there's a lot of real estate agents in Arlington Heights. So you're still dealing with that SEO issue, where when you do, here, let's do it. Real estate agent Arlington Heights, you're still only getting there's an example of what I was talking about before, where you may get results at the top, but these are all paid. These first 4 are ads. Anyway, we get below there, and really what you're getting, this is kind of once again, this internal battle. This is SEO at that basic level, where it may be, you know, for various reasons, Google has Baird and Warner and Berkshire Hathaway showing up higher in the results. And it's this continued SEO reason, which is maybe they've been around longer. They just have a lot more places linking to them. So that is a real challenge, being shown at the top of those results. When you go to more places, hopefully yours shows up somewhere here. But as you can see, yeah, there's in that first list of however many that is, 20 or so of our 10 Arlington Heights real estate people, yours may or may not be there. And that's where you're kind of dealing with SEO issues with Google. That's a real challenge. Cheryl's asking about categories. So with categories, you do need to find the best one that you can from them. And you can put in multiple categories, but when you're first setting it up, I believe they limit you to one category. So what you have to do is one category when you set it up, and after you get verified, you can go in and add other categories. I believe that they limit that at first, which may be why you're dealing with that. Anything else?
Okay, then I think I'm going to go ahead and
Can I finish it up with one thing?
yeah, please.
Once again, in the chat room, everybody, look at those. Here, I'll repost these down. I'll copy these and repost them at the bottom. There's a ton of resources out there online on the Google sites to help you with these kinds of specific questions. So, you know, why can't I add another category, or how do I help my SEO so that I rise to the top of Google business results? I just reposted them there. So definitely take a look at these. Google wants to help these small businesses, and these may answer a lot of your questions. And especially that first one, you'll see that there are other people asking questions and offering tips. Okay. Okay. Somebody asked where I teach social media. I teach all over the place. I have to say, I teach at Palatine a lot, which is pretty close to you guys. Because of COVID, I've been kind of, well, I have started updating my online calendar. VSPchicago.com is my website. A lot of online stuff, and I don't know how everybody's handling it, but I'm starting to do a lot more online classes, and I have been updating my calendar. But I put up my website, VSPchicago.com. Okay, that's it. Go ahead.
Thanks, Mike. No, thank you very much for doing this program. I do want to remind everybody that we always value your feedback, and you're going to be sent a survey through email. And we'd really appreciate it if you could just take a moment, it's short, and give us some input, some feedback about how this was helpful to you, what you thought of it. It's also helpful because we're working in this Grow with Google program, and so we want the feedback for that as well. And then I also want to mention that we have a follow-up Grow with Google program next month on August 18th, and it's Introduction to Google Analytics. So if this was something of interest to you, that may also be helpful. So please know about that and check it out. You would just sign up through the program calendar like you normally do, and no Arlington Heights card is required. So if there's anybody you know that could use that course, anybody can sign up. You just need an email. I think that's it. I want to thank everybody very much for joining us today, and enjoy this hot day. Okay,
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, take care.